What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. My name is Miles. We got the Percy Jackson TV show coming out this weekend, and I am surprisingly really excited for it because it's been getting some really strong word of mouth, and I am really excited to see what they're going to be doing with that show. But before we get into the show, let's go ahead and get started talking about the first two Percy Jackson movies because I have a lot of thoughts. Now, I know these films are divisive amongst people that have read the books. You got people that read the books that absolutely hate the movies because they're not really faithful to the source material. And then you got people like me that don't really read books but just want to be entertained for 2 hours. And I was really entertained for 2 hours. This was my first time watching The Lightning Thief since I saw it in theaters almost 14 years ago. So going back and rewatching this movie was a bit of a trip for me, and I still really enjoyed. Does it hold up for me as much as it did when I first saw it back in 2010? A little bit. Some things really aged well for me. Other things just really haven't really aged well for me. But I still really thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I still really love the world building that they did. I thought a lot of it really sparked a little bit more magic in here. Now this film is directed by Chris Columbus, who did the first two Harry Potter movies. He didn't bring the same magic that he brought to those first two Harry Potter movies, but I still liked that he was able to introduce this world to non-readers and really build this world out fantastically. I really absolutely love the world building between different creatures and everything that was going on. I absolutely still really enjoyed a lot of that. Just to show you how small the cast of this movie really was at the time, I still remember Logan Lerman in Hoot and Gamer, but this was my introduction to Alexandria Daddario and Brandon T. Jackson. While this movie did a lot for Alexandria Daddario, it didn't really do much for Brandon T. Jackson, which is a bit of a bummer because I really enjoyed the chemistry between this group of friends and the adventure that they go on. So you have a really nice, fun little road trip, and the chemistry between everybody I thought was working for me. I still enjoyed the chemistry. The performances here are hit and miss. I still enjoyed some of them. Some of them was it was alright. It didn't really ruin the movie for me personally, but I still enjoyed the performances. There's nobody that really stands out in this movie, but I still really enjoyed those three. And then you also have a couple of cameos in here from Uma Thurman, Steve Coogan, Rosario Dawson looking absolutely fire. You also have Pierce Brosnan and Sean Bean not dying. I think some of the CGI in this movie doesn't age well. I still like a little bit of it. For example, I really love Miss Dodd's transformation in this movie still. I think it still looks good enough, but the Minotaur when Percy is being hunted down doesn't work for me. I really enjoyed Hades the way that he transforms into the devil. I think it still looks fine. It doesn't ruin the movie for me personally, but I still enjoyed it. The cheesy dialogue in here is something that really doesn't hold up for me personally, but it also didn't ruin the movie for me. I think it's serviceable enough. The thing that I loved and appreciated about this movie is that it blended both the adult humor and the kid humor together, and I think that is what made this movie work. It's what I really enjoyed more about this movie than I did in the second film, because there are jokes in this movie that will go over kids' heads, but when you blend those two together, I think they absolutely work, not only just to entertain kids, but also entertain adults that are taking their kids to this movie. Is this movie perfect? Absolutely not. There are things that I really enjoyed about it still, but there are things that haven't really aged well for me as much as I would have loved to. As far as YA adaptations go, this is the least offensive. You could have done worse with this type of material, but I think they fleshed it out as well as they possibly could have, and I still think it works for me. But those are my thoughts on Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief. What are your guys' thoughts? Is this one that you absolutely hate, or is it just a harmful, fun little movie? Go ahead and drop the thoughts in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys soon.